How's it going, everybody? I'm at a turning point with vehicles, and I've decided I'm done with new cars. I'm done. I'm done with new cars. I'm not buying any more brand new cars, and I don't think it'll ever change because of the trajectory of the new car world. The landscape's disgusting. Vehicles are not interesting anymore, and I've decided to fully embrace that. And I'm going down a different path here. I've had a lot of new cars. I don't need to go into all of them, but just like a slew of them through COVID. I mean, probably 8 or 10 new cars. Really expensive, like $45,000. That's expensive to me. And it was cool when I was, breaking even. Then I started losing money, whatever. But now it's not even just that. It's not even just losing the money, but it is. But not just that. It's the technology, the reliability, and the longevity. And I think the automotive industry is knowingly selling us on these ideas that, like these cars are better than ever. No, they're not. They're not better than ever. They're worse than ever. Um, we're being we're being tricked completely. And this is a different format of video from what I normally do. I don't usually sit in my office and complain about this type of shit, but I'm gonna I think I'm gonna be completely changing like the format of my YouTube channel, or I say maybe giving it a format, which is dedicated to people who drive classic cars. We'll say classic cars, older cars, right? So pre 2005, maybe 2010, but I'm talking not direct injected. You know what I mean? Multi-port injected at the most modern. Um, that's pretty much where I'm at. I'm going to try to build a community for people like that because that's the way I'm going. Currently, I've got a 2024 Dodge Ram. That's the Hemi e-torque, right? So that's it's basically a fancy alternator generator, and it works as like a passive hybrid system. I didn't know they were dog shit when I bought it. I haven't had a problem yet, but it's a lease. Who cares? I'm not going to buy it out. I was when I bought it. So that vehicle was $55,000, right? The sticker was actually 58. It's a lease. It's a 39-month lease, and so that lease is 600 a month, 10,000 miles a year, right? So you get 32,500 miles, and you pay 600, 18,000. I don't know, 23, 24 grand total to drive 32,000 miles. 23 or 24 grand to drive 32,000 miles. Like, I'm so mad at myself I even made that decision. And at the time, it seemed like a good deal. But here's the thing, that e-torque system fails, right? And this doesn't always fail, but it will eventually. And right now, those e-torque systems newer, they're like $3,000. It's basically a $3,000 alternator. $3,000 alternator. Um, I don't want to own that car when it's 10 years old or 20 years old. And the entire infotainment system controls the climate control, the stereo, the heated seats, the heated steering wheel, all the shit. And it all routes through that. And if that fails, you lose all this. You lose all of this connectivity and features and stuff like that. It all goes, and you got to fix it, and that's thousands of dollars. Not to mention the 58 grand is crazy. Like I said, I was gonna buy it out at the end of the lease. The buyout's 32. Like, it was a good lease. It's a low APR lease. It's 600 a month. The buyout's 32. You basically got it for 55, and the lease is like zero interest. But it only makes sense if you buy it out. So I am literally paying almost like $24,000 to drive this thing 32,000 miles. It's fucking insane. Um, so I'm going the other way. So I'm stockpiling stuff, right? So I'm just going to give you the background on what I'm doing, and then I want feedback from you guys, and then I'm going to tell you the direction this is going to go. But right now, this is what I got. I got an 87 Dodge Shelby Charger Turbo, not the most reliable car in the world, but I'm working through it. I drive the car. I put 1,000 miles on it, and I've got a stockpile of parts over here. It's kind of out of camera view for a reason. All kinds of maintenance parts, stuff like that. Um, that's a fun car. That car is 10 grand, probably overpaid. 51,000 mile survivor, super cool. Never see them. Got the 91 Fox body, 5.0, supercharged, just a low boost Vortec. It's the suspension, everything's all been gone through, built rear end, Calypso. It's on my channel. If you haven't seen it, take a look. So that car, bought it for 12.5, put wheels on it, sold the old wheels, and I'm into it for like $13,400. And it runs and drives great. It's a beautiful car, and it's reliable and simple. And then I've got a 95 Cherokee. It's rust free, 134,000 miles. Bought that car for 45 grand. Tires are 5 years old, but they have great tread. And it's serviceable. There's no rust on this thing. It's excellent. Um, And you know how bulletproof those are. Like you can work on that. And then I just picked up a 98 Nissan Sentra, and or sorry, not a Sentra. It's a 200SX, so it's a two-door Sentra, and it's the SER trim. So it's got the SR20 engine, 7,500 RPM, naturally aspirated, um, 5-speed manual, 30 miles per gallon, 2,500 pounds. That's also rust free, and it does have some, some dents and dings and stuff like that, some paint fade, but it's super solid. And I'll do a video on that car too. I'm really excited about that car. It's totally fun. I've wanted one for a long time. The B13 Sentras, the early ones, like the ones that sold for like 20 grand on Bring a Trailer, those have gotten expensive. B14s, 200SXs, and Sentra SEs or whatever, if you can find those, with the SR20. Those are great cars, and they're available for really reasonable prices. But here's the thing: 24 grand for lease, right? 24 grand to drive 30,000 miles. Okay, remember that number. And $58,000 sticker price. Remember that. So for just the price of that lease, $23,000, I bought the Fox body, the Cherokee, and the Sentra outright for just the price of the lease of the truck. And PLPD for the two cars is like, it's basically like between $18 and $30 a month for PLPD on these vehicles, give or take. It's right in that range. It's super cheap through Liberty Mutual for me in Michigan. And then I have collector's insurance through Hagerty on the Mustang. That's about $100 a month. That's not cheap, but I have really good coverage on that, and I gave myself a lot of miles because I drive the shit out of it. So 58 grand. Let's just put that in perspective, right? So that's one truck. That's a 2024 Ram Bighorn heated cloth Hemi. It's nothing special. It's pretty bland. And $4,500 and $4,500, that's 9 grand. That's the Cherokee and the Sentra, right? Throw the Shelby on there. Call the Shelby 11. That's 20 grand for the Shelby, the Cherokee, and the 200SX. That's 20 grand. And then you throw the Fox into it. You're at 33.2 for all four of those cars. Purchased outright. And you're 25 grand ahead of the truck? Let me give you one example. So let's say the heater control fails on that truck, and you got to replace the whole infotainment center. God knows what it costs, especially through a dealer, $1,000. Well, the Cherokee's 30 years old, and its heater control has slide knobs. And you know what? It's definitely original. It hasn't failed, and it probably won't. And if it does, they're on eBay for like $100. What does that tell you? There's no way the infotainment center in that truck's going to last 30 years. 30 years? You think that tablet is going to last 30 years in the center console of that truck? It's dog shit. And that's not even the beginning of it. We don't even need to talk about CVTs. You guys already know they're garbage. The cheapest new car you can buy today, I did research on this, right? 2024, lot of leftover, Mirages. There's no manuals left for sale. They're only the CVTs. And it's the little tiny Mirage hatchback, and it's like $15,100. And it's not even 0% interest, whatever. 72 something horsepower 3-cylinder with a CVT. For 15 grand, dude. I got 9 in the Cherokee and the 200SX. That's crazy. And the thing about the Mitsubishi has a 10-year warranty, but the dealer network's dying. The closest dealer to me is half hour north, and the other one's about a little over an hour and a half east. In 10 years, do you think that dealership network is even going to be there? No. And the fact of the matter is, the amount of money we get tied up in these vehicles that are dog shit. Like, if you want to perpetually have a payment, go ahead. That's fine. But if you want to lease a vehicle the duration of your entire life, let's just say $600 a month, not adjusted for inflation, over 30 years. Let's just say, just 30 years. That's not even a driving person's life, right? Let's just say it's the average of $400 a month. Let's say you get a really good lease, right? Times 12 months. Okay, that's $4,800 a year. And let's say, you're 16 years old, you're licensed, you're 20. Let's say you start when you're 30. So from 30 to 65, you lease vehicles. So that's 35 years. $168,000. And that's today's money, right? And that's if you get a pretty favorable lease. You're going to spend that much money in your life. Now imagine if you had invested that money in yada yada. I don't need to go into it, but here's the thing. New cars are shit. They're not interesting. They've sold us on this idea of taking everything and throwing technology at it like a cell phone. And I guess the jig's up. I feel like more people are kind of catching wind of this. and feeling the way I feel. But there's not a lot of communities for people who simply want to daily drive old cars, right? I mean, you can go to the Cherokee groups for sure. You can go to the 200SX Nissan B14 groups. You can go to the Fox Body groups, um, and 3800, GM stuff, which is excellent daily driver if you're going to buy one car for cheap. But there's no community dedicated to the people who are determined to make it work, right? And most of us are only buying new cars from like fear and anxiety or whatever of like worrying about having a reliable vehicle. But I'm pretty much convinced at this point that's completely a facade. It's fake. It's not real. It's just we're programmed to believe that. But when I did believe that, when that was true, that was a long time ago. In the 90s through the early 2000s, um, that was true. A new car was the most reliable car you could buy. But I don't know. Definitely 10 years since the last car I'd really want to own's been built that I would like trust for the long haul. I mean, with the exception of some Toyotas, 400s, and etc. But those are very expensive. The math doesn't math. So I'm going to be doing some videos about my Cherokee, about my 200SX, talking about my Mustang and my Charger and the cost of ownership, leveraged against other new performance cars, their performance statistics and stuff like that, leveraged against the cost of new cars. But like, let's just say the motor in the Cherokee popped, right? Say it pops. I can buy a reman Longbrock for sure for $3,000, and even if I pay a shop $2,000 to put it in, $5,000, dude. The e-torque unit for the Ram is $3,000, and it's just an alternator. So that's the way I'm going. I'm going to dedicate myself to it. Why? Because the economy's shit, money's tight for everybody, and throw in $7,200 a year at a lease on a truck that I don't even really like. I don't even like it. It doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't make me feel anything. I'm old, so daily driving old cars is fun. They're just more interesting. They have personality. If you're somewhere and a dude pulls up in a brand new Camry, or even if it's a new Mustang GT, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what new car it is within a reasonable range. Brand new truck. Could be a $70,000 truck. It's not interesting. It's not a conversation starter. But let's say he pulled up in like a 95 Beretta GTC. It's like, whoa, you know what? You daily this. That's crazy. And then you talk to him, but it's like, just today driving, I saw a mid-90s two-door Olds Cutlass driving. Like, you start to notice that. A Buick Century, also the same era. Like, um, people are doing this. No one talks about it. No one talks about it, but I think there's people, I don't think it's just out of necessity. I think people are realizing they want their forever car that's serviceable and they can work on. And they're literally wising up to it. And not just them working on it. Let's say you don't have to work on it yourself. Any local mechanic with basic, like, mechanical abilities can work on any of these cars. The parts on Rock Auto are dirt cheap. And I'm going to make a video. I want to do the breakdown of, like, your service parts, your radiators, your starters, your alternators, your water pumps, basic stuff like that, and maintenance. And look at the cost. And honestly, if you do preventative maintenance, dude, these things are rock solid. You can get them worked on anywhere. Insurance is cheap. Registration is cheap. The registration on the Sentra is less than $100 a year. The truck is $300 a year. That stuff adds up, man. When you're in this economy and you're trying to, get ahead and make things work, there's only so much money you can cut. You can't, you can only cut so much food budget, right? You can cut a clothes budget. Like, I don't buy clothes. You can cut the clothes budget for sure. But you need transportation, you need housing, and anything you can set aside, honestly, to give yourself some security. So I'm in. I'm done. I'm done with new cars. I'm completely done. And I'm not going to encourage anybody to follow my path. But if you're daily driving an older car, comment on this message. Let me know, and I'll be curious to see what kind of feedback I get on this video. If anybody's on board with what I'm talking about, is basically rejecting modernity. New cars are trash. They're not getting better. government legislation and things like that will make sure that doesn't happen. Now, I'm not against safety. I'm not against emissions. This has nothing to do with that. This is literally from a standpoint of like financial sanity. I mean, these prices are too damn high. Base models, they don't build them anymore. It's the landscape's weird, man. And I'm not into it. So, anyways, comment. Tell me what you guys think. I'll have some videos coming up here soon about kind of the way I've been going with it, the vehicles I've been buying, and honestly, some of the stuff I'm looking at that I think is just an excellent deal. That I think anybody who's on a budget or just wants to save some money should look at. And like I said, I think a lot of these people driving these older cars, I don't think it's out of necessity anymore. I think people are finally just realizing, forget it, stop buying the hype. It's not worth it. It's too expensive. But all right, thanks for watching. Please comment, please like, please subscribe. There's gonna be a lot of interesting stuff happening as I pivot kind of towards this new direction. And but definitely comment. Stay tuned for more updates, guys. And I think this is gonna be really exciting.